Welcome to Trauma Informed Yoga with Kaila. This is time to relax and reconnect with your body. I hope you enjoy your practice. If you are loving these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Welcome to Trauma Yoga. So tonight we're just going to start in our hero pose. So this is hero pose, seated on our knees, sitting up nice and tall. You have that option to sit from the side. It would look like this. You could sit up onto your toes. If it was more comfortable for you and you had a yoga block, you could sit on your yoga block. Just finding that point where our spine is nice and tall and we're sitting up. Just beginning to breathe awareness into our body and just breathing, focusing on that breath. Do we have a 3-part breath, right? Can you feel the movement of where that breath goes? Feeling it come in, coming into the chest and the ribs expand and deep into that belly. And then as we exhale, it exhales out through the belly, out through the ribs, out through the chest. Noticing, can I fill my abdomen forward, right? Those deep belly breaths. Massaging out that lower reptilian brain, right? That vagus nerve, creating vagal tone through breath. Really starting to bring that breath deep down into that lower abdomen. Noticing, can I fill my abdomen laterally, playing around with which way we can fill the belly here. Can we expand our ribs nice and wide, breathing wide into those ribs? So as you begin to play with your breath and focus, I wanted to read you a little passage. So no one is immune to stress or immune to trauma. Everyone at some point in their life will go through stress and trauma. And what that means is that it's how we come out of it and how we define ourselves on the other side, how we become resilient to come out the other side. Buddha has said that pain and suffering are part of the process of life and growth. You are not defined by your trauma, but trauma makes you part of who you are. Trauma is an experience, response rooted in survival. And so with that passage, I want us to think about that we are not defined by that trauma, like it said, right? But that it does become part of who we are and we grow from it. We become better and stronger from it. Allowing it to empower us rather than dragging us down. How can we move forward from this? How can we reconnect with ourselves and that felt sense within our body? How can we begin to feel, to heal? How can we begin to heal our bodies, our minds, and our spirits? So simply by showing up here on your mat is the first step to healing. By bringing awareness to our breath, to noticing the flow in and out of our body, that's the second step to healing, right? And just beginning to connect with ourselves and finding how strong and powerful we truly are. That's the magic. That's where the magic happens. Taking back your power, noting how powerful and how amazing you truly are. Wonderful. So I'm going to invite you into a little bit of bee's breath. So bee's breath, we're going to take our thumbs and we're going to push them onto the little knobbies on the side of your ears. And we're going to, essentially, you're going to plug your ears, right? And you're going to create a humming sensation. And what it should sound like is like a bunch of bees buzzing. And what that does is it stimulates our vagus nerve. The way in which our tongue touches the roof of our mouth, it stimulates that vagal nerve, creating vagal tone and helping your body really begin to relax and begin to find that relaxation state. So taking those thumbs, we'll bring them to that little spot, plugging our ears, taking a deep breath, and humming. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Let it go. Coming back down to that hero pose, bringing awareness back into breath and just checking in. How did that feel? Was that a little off centering? Did I throw something new at you today? Or maybe this is something that you really enjoyed and you found a habit that, like, you know what, when I'm having a moment and I just need to go inward, I'm going to find my bee's breath. So playing around with different techniques, different ways of breathing, different ways of checking in with ourselves and creating that vagal tone. So we're going to begin to bring some movement in with our breath. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. So sitting in that hero pose, we're going to inhale, coming forward, reaching forward, coming into that kneeling plank. Exhale, sinking those sit bones down. We drag our hands back. Inhale, dragging those hands up the sides of our body, all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, bringing those hands back down, sitting back down onto our heels. Inhale, forward. Exhale, drag. Inhale, lifting. All the way up to the sky. Exhale, releasing back down. Let's do a couple more like this and just moving with your own breath. Using your breath to guide you, going as slow as you can, taking those nice, deep, long inhales and exhales, nice and long. Let's do one more just like that. We'll meet in our hero pose. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders rolled down and back. And we're just going to begin to breathe laterally side to side. Looks like this. Inhaling, left arm up high towards the sky. Exhale, let that left arm go. Beautiful. Inhale, right arm. Exhale, let it go. So we're just going to keep flowing side to side. Let's do a couple more here. Really beginning to breathe into that side body. Targeting that breath nice and slow all the way over and flowing back. Seeing if you can find that rhythm in your body. Can you float your hands? Can you make your hands feel light and airy like little clouds as we shift up and over? Let's do two more on each side. Last set through. Use that breath, really reaching, extending, making it light and airy. And let's begin to reach forward, extending down into our child's pose. So if it feels better to you, you can choose to take those knees nice and wide in your child's pose, but you find that child's pose expression that resonates most with you. You can stack your wrists. You could use a block and stack a block under your head. Just using the moment here, and let's check in with our body. Let's check in with our breath here in our child's pose. So noticing, can I breathe into my back ribs? So rather than breathing deep down into that belly and allowing that belly to fall between our knees, Can we breathe into our back ribs? Can you extend up towards the sky with the backs of those ribs? Let's extend those arms, reaching them way out long. And then we're going to come up onto our fingertips and we're just going to feel that beautiful stretch down either side of our arms. Inhaling forward, we'll come into that kneeling plank. Taking a moment here in our kneeling plank, we'll exhale those elbows down by our sides, finding crocodile, all the way down, belly coming down first. There we go. Inhaling, lifting into baby cobra. Allowing those elbows to fall back towards our toes. And exhale, rolling through center, pressing through our hands, pressing it back into that child's pose. We're going to do 2 more mini flows, just like that. Coming forward, we'll come into that kneeling plank. And you can go at your own pace if you know what you're doing, or you can just choose to follow along, allowing those elbows to come down, bringing that chest down. Inhaling, lifting baby cobra. And exhale, child's pose. 1 more, just like that, as we warm up with our breath. Inhaling forward. Exhale down. Inhaling baby cobra. Exhale, press it back. Find that child's pose. Inhaling forward, let's come onto all fours. So hands stacked underneath our shoulders, knees stacked underneath our hips. Just wagging that doggy tail side to side. See if you can find that lateral movement. Now once you've got the tail wag, can you make the shoulders roll, right? Can we find that movement with our shoulders? Kind of like that snake-like movement, right? Seeing if we can snake our spine, finding that rhythm. Good, and then let's find center. We're going to extend our right leg out behind us. Toes attached to the floor. We're just going to play around here. So we're going to inhale. We're just going to slowly drag those toes up to a point of tension. And exhale, slowly dragging those toes back nice and long. It might not be a very large distance. Inhale, slowly drag. Exhale, slow pressing back. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, slowly drag. Exhale, slowly back. Good. Let's lift that right leg ever so slowly. So how slowly can you lift it to come into that spinal balance position? And once you've got that leg lifted, we're going to flex those toes. So pulling the toes back towards your belly button, kicking straight back out that heel, looking for 2 hips in 1 line. Now you can choose to stay here, or we can choose to go a little bit further. And if we're coming further, we're going to lift that left hand up as if to shake someone's hand, reaching way out in front of us, trying to stay stable here in our spinal balance. And let's go ahead and just shake out the tension in that hand. Just shake it out, let it go. Reach. Can you drop that shoulder back into your spine? Can you press out of that right hand? Lifting. Finding that tension pattern here. As we lift that right leg, the left hand lifts, we press into that right palm, pressing into the top of our left foot, holding stable. 1 more full round of breath here. And exhale as slowly as you can, bringing those hands and legs back down, bringing that knee in. You see, we're moving slowly, so you can come back into that little bit of a wag now while I chat. to you. So we're moving slowly in these postures because we spend so much of our busy lives moving so quickly. And so we need to take that time to slow down. Slowing down allows us to really connect with our body and to understand what it is that we're feeling. Let's take that left leg, kick it out straight behind us. And we're just going to begin to play with this one. So let's inhale, drag those toes up, 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 up. And then exhale, pressing them back. Slowly moving with your own breath here, dragging the toes in and pressing the toes back. We're going to do one more just like that. All right, let's go ever so slowly. Let's lift that left leg up. Really, really slow, 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 slow. Good. Once we got it lifted, let's flex those toes, pulling the toes back towards your belly button, kicking straight out the back heel there, finding that tension, nice long neutral spine with that left leg kicked out. And if you're wanting to, you can go a little further. We can choose to bring that right hand up nice and long out in front of us. Now take that shoulder, drop it down into the spine, shake out that hand, let that tension in the hand go, and soften. Holding strong, can you press out of that left shoulder a little bit more, pressing into that left palm? Can you drop that right shoulder back into your spine? And as you lift that left leg, that right arm extends even further, holding that belly button in nice and tight, taking some nice deep breaths here. Notice the self-talk that's going through your head. What are the messages that you're telling yourself? Is this hard? Is this easy? Am I loving this? Is this difficult? Am I able to focus on my breath? There's so much going on, right? Just checking in, observing the messages going through our heads, and slowly, slowly bringing the arm, the leg back down. Bring them back in. Let's wag that tail. So the messages that we tell ourselves, they often get stuck in our heads, and that becomes our reality, right? If we tell ourselves something's difficult, then all we can think about is how difficult it is, rather than giving ourselves the option that maybe it's not as difficult. Maybe I can find space. Maybe there's a different variation or option that I am able to take, and understanding that that's okay. Okay, let's take from here, we're going to come into our cat-cow. So let's drop those shoulder blades back into the spine, lifting through heart center, arching that back, belly lifting away from the floor. We come into our cow here. Breathing deeply into the cow, we're allowing that belly to pull away from the floor. Imagine you've got a little candle under your belly. You want to keep that candle away, the candle wick away from your belly button. Pulling it nice and deep into that spine. And as we exhale, we drop and round through that spine, tucking that pelvis under, reaching down deep through our hands. Inhaling, dropping those shoulders down and back, lifting through heart center, allowing that belly to arch, but pulling it up away from our mat. Standing tall, lifted in this beautiful, amazing cow. And then we exhale, drop around, feel that yin and yang movement as we roll through the spine. We're finding the waves of the ocean within our spine, right? We're using our own mobility to create these lovely waves, using our breath to guide us. So we're flowing our inhales and our exhales with our cat-cow. Going slowly, slowly, slowly. I promise I will allow you to go a little bit fast in here in a bit, but I want you to practice slowing down. Let's practice finding that space and that little area where we can slow down just a bit. This is our opportunity here on our mat to practice slowing down, right? These fast-paced, busy lives, they allow us to go, 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 go. I mean, I think that is one true benefit of this COVID pandemic, is that we have started to learn what it might feel like to slow down a little bit, right? What it feels like to be at home with our families a little more. Let's come back to that neutral spine and let's begin to wag our tail, just finding that tail wag. And then let's kick that right leg out behind us and let's begin to shake it, just shaking out that tension that has started to build. Like a wet dog shaking our leg. Noticing, can you find that rhythm all the way up? And let it go. Let's take that left leg out. Kick, 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 kick. Shake, shake, shake. And let it go. Press it back, coming into that child's pose. Whew. You guys doing amazing. That was tough. That was a lot of balancing, a lot of wrist work. I should have mentioned that if your wrists do get sore, you can always do fists for wrists. There's no requirement to always stay on your wrists. Let's practice that back breathing, right? Breathing into the back side of those ribs, calming that nervous system a little. Inhaling forward, coming onto the all fours position. Let's take our right leg and step it through, finding that lunge. So we're coming into that kneeling lunge position here. So beautiful kneeling lunge, stepping through, both hands coming into the inside of our foot. So I'm going to show you from the front like this. You're going to come into the inside of your foot because we're coming into that lizard lunge, right? So lizard lunge means that you can come onto those elbows. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not as flexible as I wish I were. So if you have the ability, you can come down onto those elbows all the way down to the ground. If you've got a yoga block, you can stack it. If you're not quite there yet, that's cool. You don't need it. You just bend those elbows to where you can, right? Again, yoga is all about meeting our body with where we're at today, being in the present moment, right? We're not judging ourselves. We're just releasing any expectations and allowing ourselves to simply be. And the way that we allow ourselves to simply be is we keep connecting with that breath. Keep reminding ourselves that we are here on our mats, experiencing whatever it is that we need to experience today, here in this moment. Right? We resist that urge to give ourselves that pedicure, right? While our hands are by our foot, right? We're resisting that urge, and we're resisting the urge to focus on what you might be making for dinner tomorrow or any tasks that you have to do still. Right? We're allowing ourselves to just simply be, noticing any tension within the body, beginning to breathe awareness and breathing out that tension. So from our lizard, if you're down on your elbows, you're going to press back up. We're going to take that left hand, place it right beside your right foot. Our right hand is going to come to our right sit bone, and we're going to twist, 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 twist towards that knee. From here, you can choose to bring that hand up nice and tall, coming into our twisting lunge. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, maybe you decide you're going to lift both hands and come into a prayer twist. This is your practice. You get to choose. Am I doing prayer twist or twisting lunge, or am I just going to stay in my regular lunge? Your practice. Staying in that lunge, whatever variation resonated with you. And we're looking over to that right-hand side of our room. So as we're looking over to the right, keeping our head going right, we're going to just try some of that eye movement that we've done before, right? So we're going to take those eyes, and without moving our head, we're going to look left. So try and see if you can find those left fingers if they're on the floor. If we're in our prayer twist, just keep searching for that big toe with your eyes. As much as your eyes want to start gazing away from that, I want you to keep tracking them back. Searching left, I know it feels kind of weird, but this is how we begin to reset that nervous system, right? How we begin to allow our body to understand what it feels like to relax. And did you notice as you're holding the eyes left, can you drop that left hip a little further? Right? Are we able to find a little bit more space as our body begins to relax here? Bring those eyes back forward, bringing the hand back to the hip if you were arm up tall. If we're in our prayer twist, we're going to twist all the way back down forward, bringing both hands back down to our mat. Let's step it back. And press it back into our child's pose. Whew. Oh, that was fun on those hips, wasn't it? Great hip opener. So I'm going to turn around so that I can see you guys for this next side. Flop my hair to the other side. Okay. So inhaling forward, coming back onto all fours. Let's this time take our left leg through. We're stepping through, finding both hands on the inside of that left leg. Finding that nice, beautiful lunge position. And we're going to come down into that lizard lunge again if it feels good to you. So I'm going to turn so you can see me again. Coming down onto those elbows if you're able to. You know, one of these sides is not like the other, right? Sometimes you have that one side that you're just a little bit more flexible with, and that's okay. But do take stock. Notice, which side do I feel a little bit more flexible with? Because those are the sides that we want to make sure that we come back to the tighter side from time to time, right? We want to bring that awareness and that guidance back when we're not on our mat to say, hey, maybe I should do a little bit more stretching on that really tight side. I remember that hip was super tight. All right, let's take that right hand and place it beside our left foot. Taking that left hand, bringing it to that left sit bone. Let's begin to twist belly, ribs, chest towards that knee. We can have that arm up high in that twist, or you can come up into that prayer twist if you liked prayer twist, or maybe you didn't try it last time. You want to try it on this side, that's cool. You can choose anything you want because this is your amazing practice. This is your chance to choose whatever it is that you want to do and to be in total control of your own choices, right? Without judgment. And just saying, do I like this? Do I not like this? That's okay. We're noticing. We're beginning to connect with ourselves and really truly connecting to the person that we are here today, right? We're not the person that we used to be. I'm not the person I was 10 years ago. I'm a different person. And that's okay, right? So we are always in this process of relearning this person that we are, this person that we've become. And sometimes we look in the mirror and we're like, who is that person? And you recognize a person from 10 years ago, not necessarily always recognizing that person that we are today. And so this is where we get to greet that person that we are today and understand them and truly begin to fall in love with them, right? Falling in love with this new version of myself. All right, so we're looking off to the left here, and we're going to, without moving our head, we're going to take that eye gaze to the right. All right, we're looking down to the right. So if your hand's on the ground, you're taking that gaze to that right, your right hand. If your hand is in prayer twist, then you're looking for that big toe on that left foot. So keep searching. No matter how much those eyes want to keep tracing back to center, you keep searching them off to the right. Noticing the longer you hold this, can you find a little bit more space? Can you relax a little bit more into the posture? Bring the eye gaze back forward. Bring that hand back to the hip. If your hand is above you, if you're in prayer twist, drop one hand back down. Let's begin to unravel back down and forward. Both hands down onto our mat. Step it back, finding that child's pose. Whew. I don't know about you guys, but that second side, that made me feel a little dizzy, and that's okay. That dizzy feeling is just our body realigning, right? Our eyes are so connected to the backs of our spine, right? And so they directly are the ones that influence our top two vertebrae in our spine. And that's really where a lot of the blood flow goes to our frontal lobe, that ability to make decisions, that ability to think critically, really. And so when we begin to allow those muscles in the back of the spine there, and then the back of our eyes to relax, then what that does is it allows that nervous system to reconnect and allows that top two vertebrae to go back into alignment. And the frontal lobe will begin to just flood with fresh, rich, oxygenated blood. And all of a sudden our thinking, it becomes clearer. We have less brain fog. We're able to make better decisions and make decisions out of full choice. You see, when we're in that survival state from chronic stress and trauma, we use that reptilian brain, that survival brain. And what we don't always realize is that we want to use that limbic brain, right? Our limbic brain is the brain that drives us from emotion and from memory. And that limbic brain just kind of shuts part of it off. So we forget to connect with emotion, and we don't have as great of a memory when we're living in that reptilian brain. So reconnecting with that limbic brain and those felt sense and those feelings that we're having within our body is so critical to us and on this healing journey. Let's reach those hands way forward, planting all 5 fingers. So like a gecko, rolling through the palms, plant all 5 fingers. Let's bring our weight slightly forward, curling our back toes under. We're going to press it up into our downward facing dog. And if it feels better to you, you could choose to go into puppy. So if you forgot what puppy is, puppy, we're shortening that lever. We're on our knees, but our bum is in the air. Or we're up into our downward facing dog. So whether you're in puppy or down dog, let's begin to find that tail wag. Can you find that lateral movement? What does that feel like? All right, so those toe drags that we did on all fours, we're going to bring those toe drags into our down dog. So if you are in puppy, you're going to do knee drags. So if you're in puppy, we're going to drag our knees. If we're in down dog, we're dragging our toe. So we're going to lift that right leg up high towards the sky. Drop the toes down, and ever so slightly, let's drag that toe. Slowly. How slow can you go? Drag. Plant that foot down and forward, keeping our hands on the mat. We're shifting our weight into that front leg. We're going to lift up that left leg, finding that parallel position. And if it feels good to you, you can either choose to leave your hands here, or you can choose to extend your arms out long, finding warrior 3, finding a balanced posture. Oh, we're practicing a little challenge here today. So you could choose to leave those legs on the mat, or arms on the mat. Oh my gosh, Kaila. Or you can choose to extend them out nice and long, your choice. Holding our warrior 3, stop, so strong, reaching. Dropping those shoulders down away from our ears. Can we find a little space? Noticing, are we curling forward? Can we open up a little bit more? Exhale, plant those hands back onto the mat. Plant that left toe back, and let's step that right foot back, finding our downward facing dog. Whew. Walk it out. Let it go. Wag it out if it feels good, right? Wag it out. Let's kick that right leg behind us and just give it a little shake. Let's shake it out. Let it go. Okay. Down dog. So same thing here. I'm just going to show you guys. You guys can stay in your down dog. But if you are in puppy, we are just dragging that knee forward, and then we can come up into, again, that spinal balance, or you could choose to lift both arms up. So your choice. Does not matter which way we're doing this. Okay. My hair is like a giant mop on the floor tonight. Let's take that left leg out behind us, lifting it up. Drop those toes down. And let's just drag that left toe really slow. Finding that slow. And then when you get to that top point, step that foot. Shifting the weight forward over that left foot. Let's lift that right leg up. Finding that parallel position. Option to leave hands down on your mat, or option to lift up into our warrior 3. Whew. A little bit of a challenge. We like challenges, right? We rise to the occasion. Life is a challenge, and we're rising to the occasion of that every day when we wake up, right? We rise to the occasion of what the day has to offer us. So we're just practicing a little challenge here on our mat. And practicing, noticing, can I find my breath? Oh, one side is way wobblier than the other tonight. That's cool. We like it. Can we drop those shoulders down away from our spine, finding that breath, guiding. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Step that right foot down. Step your left foot back. Press it back, down dog. Wag it out. And then let's take that left leg behind us and shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Woo. Find that down dog. Maybe we're going to pedal it. Maybe you're going to twist it. Your choice. Let's drop those knees. Press it back. Come down into that child's pose. Calm that nervous system. Find that breath, right? Find that backside breathing. Can you breathe into those back ribs? Finding that again. We already were doing that. And as you're here in your child's pose, I want you to bring awareness. Can I soften that place between my eyebrows? Can I soften the place on my forehead? Can I find a little bit more space on my forehead here? All right, let's reach those arms way forward. Way forward. Inhaling, coming forward. Let's curl our back toes under. Pressing it up, down dog. We're going to walk our feet towards our hands. Coming into that forward fold position. Now let's just hang out in our forward fold. So if your hands don't quite reach the floor, you could ground them on a block. You could ground them on your shins. You could ground them on your thighs. This is your practice. Figure out where you're grounding them. Just allow them to ground. That's cool. We're just grounding wherever it is. So we're just going to use some sinking breath to help us to relax into this a little bit. So let's inhale, lifting, finding monkey. That nice long neutral spine. Exhale, sink it down. Just notice, allow your body to just hang, right? Even if your hands don't touch the ground, just let them hang. Inhale, lifting into monkey. Exhale, let it go. Oh, hanging out. One more, just like that. Inhale, lift into monkey. Exhale, let it hang. Allow that belly to sandwich onto the top of our thighs. Maybe we decide we're going to rock side to side. What does that look like? Can you kind of drag your hands? I know if I drag my hands on my mat, it kind of sounds like waves of the ocean. What kind of rhythm can you find in your body? And then we find stillness. Take a deep bend through the knees. And let's roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders back. Coming back up nice and tall. Reaching up, extended mountain. Exhale down through heart center. Standing tall in our mountain pose. Okay, so from mountain, we're going to take our left foot and we're going to step it out nice and wide. So you're going to turn on the long edge of your mat. Toes are out nice and wide. Heart center is lifted. Almost like that sumo pose, okay? Let's inhale up into 5-pointed star. Exhale, sinking down, prayer squat. Inhale, lift. 5-pointed star. Exhale, sinking. Prayer squat. So just using your own breath here to come into that 5-pointed star and down into that prayer squat. And as you press into that 5-pointed star, I want you to notice your feet root down into the earth, pressing down through our mat, grounding into the universe here. Notice how we really press into our feet, the weight in our feet, the ability for the ground to hold us up, and how miraculous that is, right? We're not going right through the ground. We're strong, we're stable. And as you sink into your prayer squat, I want you to notice how strong and stable your legs are. right? Our legs, they carry us through life. They carry us every single day. And how often do we practice that gratitude for our legs and our feet? We just expect them to do what we expect them to do every day. So practicing that gratitude, noticing how strong they are, noticing how reliable they are, right? We can rely on our legs to carry us each day. So we can rely on them to carry us through this yoga practice. Using that breath. When you're ready, let's meet at our 5-pointed star. Noticing those tension patterns, are you able to relax those shoulders down into that spine? Can you find that little bit of wiggle, right? All right, let's bring those arms back down. Hands down in front of us, taking a nice deep squat, just like we did in our prayer squat. We're going to take that energy from the universe. Let's drag it up. That nice, beautiful grounding energy. Okay, here we go. Dragging that grounding energy up our body. Up, 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 up. Feeling strong and rooted. Pressing it all the way out. The top of our head. Noticing ourselves growing a little taller like a tree. We're taking those roots of the tree and extending them way up into our leaves. Exhale, let's wind them down. Can you wind that grounding energy back down into the earth? Inhale, pull the energy straight up our body, up to the top of our head. Exhale, wind, helix it, right? Our DNA is a helix. Let's helix it together. One more, inhale. Pulling that deep grounding energy up our body, all the way up, the top of our head, growing taller like a tree, blossoming in spring. Exhale, bringing that loving energy back down our bodies, rooting down back into the universe, planting our hands on our mat, extending our sit bones nice and high, finding that straddle forward fold. Find that breath. Now, if you really loved that sinking breath that we did in our forward fold, you could use your sinking breath here too, right? We can inhale, lift halfway, exhale, sink down. If you want to do 2 more with me, you can, or you can just hang out here. Lifting halfway, sink down. Allow those sit bones to rise a little higher. Let's do 1 more. Isn't that fun, right? So let's take our left hand and reach it over to our right leg. Take our right hand and reach it out nice and long. And let's just find that dynamic tension. Now, if you can't quite reach your leg or you can't quite reach your arm out long, that's cool. Put your hand closer towards your leg, right? We're just reaching across our body. We're using that cross-sectional pattern, right? And what this does is it actually causes our brain to go, uh-oh, I need to use both sides of my brain. I need to connect both right and left, right? Because I'm using both directions. We're going multi-dimensional here. Now we're planting through that right fingertips. I want you to roll that right shoulder slightly open. So you should feel a stretch right in behind that shoulder blade, right? Pressing, reaching. Almost like we're trying to look underneath that right shoulder. Let's come back to center. Let's take that right hand over to the left leg. Reach that left hand out nice and long in front of us. And now let's begin to open, rolling open through that left shoulder blade. And noticing, do I feel the stretch the same or is it different? Can I plant through my left palm a little bit more to find a little bit more opening here? We're twisting slightly towards that side, right? Let's come back down to center. Take a nice deep bend through our knees. Let's heel toe our feet back to center. Coming into that forward fold position. And we'll step it back, finding that downward facing dog. Take a moment here if you need it, or you can go directly down into child's pose, your choice. Reconnecting with that breath if we lost it. Let's inhale forward, shift our hips off to one side, bringing those legs around front. Oh. And grab a little sip of water here. I just love fresh lemon in my water. There's just something just so refreshing about it. It's better than regular water, I swear. So shaking out those legs a little bit, flexing those feet, sitting up nice and tall in our staff pose here. So we're going to continue with that sinking breath, right? We've used it a couple times here tonight. And the nice thing is it allows us to connect and understand what it means to contract and to relax, right? And often in that trauma situation or that high stress situation, we're contract. And we very rarely do we find that point of relax. So before we go into that sinking breath for our seated forward fold, I want us to come into our ping pong hands. So I want you to find that rhythm in your hands, palms up, and we're just going to pretend like you're juggling a ping pong back and forth, back and forth. Can you find that ping pong hand? Can you find that little bit of rhythm? That floating sensation, right? Just like we were doing with our lateral movements at the very beginning, finding that floating sensation within the hands. Can you find that floating sensation? Right? Can you juggle that ping pong now that we've juggled it narrow? Let's see, can we juggle it a little wider? What does that feel like? Does that feel a little bit different to bring them a little wider? And now I want you to imagine, now we've got two ping pongs. Now you got to concentrate a little bit more, a little deeper here. Do you have two ping pongs? Can you make them go back and forth? Can you find the rhythm? This is my favorite way to juggle, only because I cannot juggle more than one ball. So this is perfect. I never drop them, never have to go looking for them. Good. Can we take them out to the side, finding those ping pong hands, right? Let's take those arms a little wider. Can you find that rhythm in your hands? Can you make those hands feel light and airy? One more time. One more full breath. And let it go. Whew. Right? That rhythm, that adjustment, that ability to focus on that ping pong going back and forth. We're staying very present in that space, looking for that ping pong. All right, now it's time to use that sinking breath, sitting up nice and tall, taking a nice inhale. Exhale, walk those hands forward. Take note of where you're at. Take note of where those fingertips are at, right? Can you inhale, coming halfway back, slightly back? Exhale down a little further, a little bit more. Let's do that again. Inhale one more time. Exhale, walking down and forward. Did you get further? Were you able to go a little bit more? Now, once we're here, we're going to tuck that forehead down towards our chest, bringing that down towards those knees. Just noticing any tightness, any sensation that you're feeling here. Give your toes a little wiggle. Can you wiggle them? Can you wiggle your fingertips? Checking in with your neck. Can you roll your neck side to side, right? Can you find that motion there? That's cool. It's still there. When I move my neck, my hair just falls more into my face. That's great. Checking in. Can I walk my fingertips any more forward? Am I relaxing? Am I able to find that breath? And walking those hands back up and in. Our time together goes just so darn fast. I love these classes. Let's bend our knee. So we're bending, I'm going to bend my right knee. You can bend your whatever knee you're wanting to. So if you've got your knee bent, you're going to take the opposite hand and wrap it around, giving yourself a nice little hug. We begin to twist. Now you can choose to take that same hand as the bent knee behind you, allowing you to support that spine, or you can choose to wrap it around, bringing that hand around that body there. Your choice. So if your hand is wrapping around your body, you're opening through that front side of the shoulder. If your hand is behind you, it's there for support. And then I want you to notice, can I flex my other leg that's extended out nice and long? Can I bring those toes back towards my belly button? Can I sit up a little taller? Can I use that breath to guide me? And then can I wring out my spine a little bit more? Lots to think about here tonight, right? Can I turn that neck to look over that back shoulder? If it's not available to us today, that's cool. No requirement. I just want to play around with it a little bit, trying to see how much we can twist and fandangle our bodies into really fun positions. Exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly. That really, really slow motion coming all the way back around front. Wonderful. Let's take that leg out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay, other side, bend the knee. Take the opposite hand around, give it a nice little hug. That same hand can come around behind and support you from behind, or it can wrap around your body, opening through the front side of that shoulder. Can you flex that front foot that's out nice and long? Can we pull those toes back towards our belly button? And then can we twist that neck to look over that other shoulder? Breathing. And slowly, slowly, slowly unraveling. One vertebrae at a time can you unravel. It's so darn slow. Let's send that leg out nice and long. Shake it out. Let it go. Grabbing both knees this time in. And we're going to roll down onto our mat. So rolling those knees in towards our chest. Rolling onto our mat, onto our back. Let's rock those hips out side to side. Maybe forward and back, whatever that feels like to you. Finding that space, that movement here. And while we're here tucked into this little ball, I want us to give ourselves a nice big hug. So squeezing those knees in. Maybe that means we tuck our forehead and curl into our little ball. And just practice here while you're in your little ball, even if your head's not tucked in, whatever that means to you. And I want you to practice a little bit of gratitude here. One thing that you're grateful for tonight here in this practice. One thing that you're grateful for in your life. A little bit of gratitude goes a long way. And like a flower petal blossoming, we're slowly unraveling from that ball. Our feet plant on the shower mats. Our arms fall out nice and long. Let's extend that left leg out nice and long. Bringing that right knee across our body, grabbing on with that left hand, pulling it across, finding our supine spinal twist. Noticing, can we relax down our foot onto that left knee, looking out over that right arm, taking that gaze out nice and long. Now I want you to wiggle your toes ever so slightly and just noticing, checking in. Can I relax my toes? Are there any other points in my body that have that tension? And can I breathe a little deeper? Can I relax that tension down away? Taking some deep breaths here in our spinal twist. And slowly, slowly coming back through center. Planting that foot. Let's take that left knee in, right knee out. We're going to pull that left knee across the body, grabbing on with that right hand, arm out to our side, allowing that foot to cross onto that leg, and taking that gaze out towards the left, finding that supine spinal twist on the other side. This time we're wiggling our toes and noticing any tension within our body and just allowing the heaviness of our toes to fall here in our spinal twist, breathing into that left side body. Noticing, can I relax those fingers a little more? Can I find space within this posture? Can I find my breath? Noticing, checking in. And slowly, slowly coming back through center. Planting our feet. And just checking in, finding that breath. Allowing it to sink now. You could go into our Savasana with your knees knocking in on each other. You could choose to come out with our legs out nice and long. Maybe we choose to go legs up a wall, or maybe we choose to lay on our tummies and allow that forehead to rest onto our hands. The option is yours. This is your yoga practice. So we're coming into this Savasana, this place of relaxation, this place of comfort and calming, and where we actually get to receive all of the benefits of our yoga practice here tonight. And this is often the place that we have the hardest time relaxing, the hardest time of just letting go, right? And so in this place of Savasana, I want you to begin to soften your gaze. For some of you, that might mean closing your eyes, and I will guide you on a little body scan here. So we're going to start at our toes. So let's start by wiggling our toes ever so softly. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And once we're done, we just relax and find our toes fall heavy. As the toes fall heavy, the heaviness creeps up our legs. We find our feet are heavy, our ankles are heavy. We're beginning to find that relaxation state as it creeps from that toes up. The calves fall heavy. You notice your knees rolling open. Finding that sleepy sensation guiding in through our knees as it creeps up our legs. We find our legs fall heavy, our thighs heavy. We notice that sacrum is heavy. It's kind of like that pendulum feeling, right? Right from that lower abdominal region in through that sacrum, and it's heavy into our mats. Just noticing that lower body feeling a little heavy. Noticing our fingers. Let's begin to wiggle our fingertips. And then we find stillness with them as they float out. Noticing how our fingers fall heavy, palms open, and our wrists heavy. Can you find the softness? Allowing those fingers to curl in slightly if that's where softness lies for you. Checking in, allowing that heavy, sleepy feeling to creep to our elbows. And noticing, do my shoulders curl in, or can I roll them open? Can I find that heaviness through my shoulders as my heart center lifts? And as we're here and we're breathing into that heart space, I want you to breathe deep into that heart space and noticing your heart and the rhythm of your heart. Life is abundant within you. You are strong and beautiful. Noticing as we breathe into that heart space, finding peace, finding gratitude, and finding so much love for yourself. Maybe you find a word that resonates with you or a phrase that you'd like to say to yourself. It can be something simple like, I love you, I care for you. I admire your courage for showing up here tonight. I admire your courage for being on your yoga mat. Or maybe it's just simple like, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for this amazing opportunity to take me through this practice, to allow me to feel these feelings, to allow me to simply be. Whatever the saying is that you have for yourself, allow that saying to fill your heart space. Practicing gratitude and kindness for ourselves. Noticing that heavy, sleepy feeling creeps up our neck. to the back of our head and feeling our head fall heavy. Finding the softness between those eyebrows as our cheeks sink heavy. Allowing our teeth to kind of softly part and the mouth to fall heavy. Feeling whole in this light, airy, let go, peaceful state. Let's take some breaths here. And taking this opportunity to take the sides of your mouth and curl them up into a smile, into this big, goofy grin. Noticing how that smile makes you feel. Noticing the silliness that we feel, maybe with our eyes closed here still, right? As we're smiling greatly on our mats and noticing the joy that brings us, right? Like we could say that this is happiness, but happiness is fleeting. I want to fill us with joy. So these big, goofy smiles here on our mats and allowing that joy to fill our bodies. Noticing, where do you feel this sensation of joy? Where do you feel the sensation of happiness or whatever sensation is coming up as you smile here on your mat? You're alone in your room. Just allow yourself to smile. Even if we're not happy, we're smiling because it creates these feel-good endorphins. It creates this amazing feeling within our bodies. So taking that breath from wherever you're feeling that feeling of joy or happiness and breathing it deep down into your toes. Breathing it into the tips of your fingers and breathing it into the top of your head. Feel this whole wonderful, happy feeling, filling our entire being. Take a couple breaths here and just be with it for a moment. Let's begin to wiggle our fingers and our toes, bringing our gaze back into the space, feeling joy and happiness inside of us. Let's roll onto our side body, taking a moment here, spending as much time as we need to. And when it feels good, we'll slowly make our way to an easy seated position near the top of our mat. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for joining me here tonight. It is truly an honor and a blessing to be part of your journey. The light in me honors, cherishes, and has so much gratitude for the light in you. Namaste.